Everyone, thanks for tuning in. So I'm here at my friend's house. I'm in his kitchen, so lighting and sound might be a little bit different than normal. Just bear with us. But I have my 12 favorite knives from 2018 here, and since my friend Ed here, go ahead and say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
My friend Ed here, he appreciates knives, but he's not a knife enthusiast or collector. So I just wanted to get his take on my 12 favorite and kind of see what he thinks as a non-knife person, what he likes and dislikes, that sort of thing. So we'll jump right into it. First one on my list is the Tangram Santa Fe. This is one of the nicest budget offerings from 2018. So Ed, what do you like or dislike or think about that one?
All right, well, it opens very smoothly. So it has, I don't know, just seems very basic, but quality. Something I'm not super fond of is, I guess I'm not really big on G10 handles. They just feel kind of plasticky to me.
Okay.
But yeah, it's smooth. Liner lock. Seems like it reminds me a lot of the Spyderco Tenacious.
Yeah, definitely a good thing. And so for $30, is that something you would carry?
Yeah, this seems like a good $30 everyday carry. And it seems thin and light, so something that would be appropriate for that. And then I do like that the clip is kind of a...
Deep carry?
Yeah, deep carry clip.
Okay, solid. All right. Next one in my list is actually called the Massdrop Gent. You guys have seen it. So tell me what you think of this knife.
Okay, I think the G10 feels a little bit better on this knife than the last one. I like the flipper tab because I'm not really a thumb stud kind of person, I suppose. The frame lock feels quite nice, but it's thin, it's small, it's light. I like the blade shape. It seems very functional, but still has some aesthetic appeal. So, okay. And then again, the deep carry clip. This one seems a little bit small, which may or may not be good.
Okay. How much do you think that knife cost?
Alright, let's see. Maybe 120?
$80.
$80?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that seems fine for $80.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice for $80 because the blade steel's S35 VN.
Okay.
Which, again, pretty good value. So, alright, good call. Alright, the next one, and we're pulling them here out of the Blade HQ carry case, which is very, very nice. This one just came out. This is the Knives Pleroma.
I love the look of this, and I hate the feel of this.
Okay.
Once it's open, it's better. So I prefer it open to closed.
What do you dislike about the feel initially?
So when I picked it up and it was closed, it just feels very angular, and that's part of what makes it look nice, is that kind of angular look. But yeah, it's not as comfortable as some of the others. But it still feels quality. It just doesn't feel ergonomic.
Okay.
But the look is fantastic.
So for for $300, yay or nay? Do you think?
I wouldn't buy this for $300.
Okay.
But for something that's just kind of pretty to show off, I think it would be really cool.
Yeah. It uses a semi-integral back to it. It's almost a modular piece. You have a kind of a skeleton frame, then everything else is essentially bolted onto that that back.
All right, yeah, and the blade shape is pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, modeled after a traditional swayback slip joint. Have you ever seen a swayback before? Slip joint?
Mm-mm.
Same basic shape, but anyways. All right.
Okay.
Next one is the Shiro 95 NL, I believe it is. So, what do you like or dislike about that?
So, I like the size. The blade opening action is very smooth. I like that. I'm not really a liner. I suppose this is a personal preference, but I'm not really a frame or a liner. What is this?
This is a frame lock.
Okay, yeah, frame lock. I'm not really a frame lock guy, I suppose.
Do you like liner locks better?
I prefer liner locks because I find, since I'm not really a knife guy, when I go to open it, my fingers tend to be on the frame lock, which makes it harder to open and harder to close. But this one I don't have that problem. It feels very nice. kind of like I like the color of it, and the handles, they feel a little bit slick with the look of them. I would expect it to be a little bit more grippy, but it feels like a good knife, and I like the design on the clip.
Yeah. So for $700, yay or nay?
No. No, but that's probably because I wouldn't spend $700 on any knife.
Oh, yeah, me neither.
But yeah,
wink,
yeah, I probably wouldn't. Even if I was a $700 knife guy, I don't think I'd pay $700 for this.
Okay, fair enough. All right, next on the list is the ZT-0462? Yeah, 0462. All right.
Okay, again, very smooth. It doesn't feel as tight as some of the other ones,
Okay.
or the last one that we were handling.
Mm-hmm.
The other one just felt a little bit tighter, but it does. It looks nice. The red in that carbon fiber is pretty cool.
Fun fact, it's harder for the people who make knockoffs. They can't get their hands on that carbon fiber. So it's harder for the people making knockoffs to replicate that.
Yeah, we got another frame lock. I like the shape of the blade on this one. I find like Tonto blades and things where they have like an edge that isn't smooth, something where there's like a point mid-edge, they are like harder to manage.
Okay.
But this just seems like a very smooth edge.
Yeah, it's a Persian blade shape.
Yeah,
just
it has
a nice
a very
upsweat.
pointy edge.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, like very pronounced point. Seems kind of cool. And then again, frame lock is something, or the frame lock isn't my favorite, but all these have been very nice frame locks. And then the flipper tab I like.
Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
so what's the damage on this one?
Crap, it's like 240 or 260.
Yeah, I would go for that for 240 or for 260.
Okay.
If I was, you know, a $200 knife guy.
I'm pretty sure I've given you $200 knives.
You probably have.
Okay. Next one is the Lian My Eraser.
Okay, this seems like it would be easy to carry because it feels relatively light and thin. Thin in this dimension, which I kind of like. That one's very smooth, very tight. The last one felt a little more like the tolerances weren't quite as tight.
Mm-hmm.
This one feels very tight. I kind of like the pocket clip design. It's relatively deep, but not super deep, but it is thin and elegant. It seems like it wouldn't get in the way. What is this?
This is like a shredded carbon fiber.
Okay, it looks very cool.
Or a marbled carbon fiber, actually.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is very smooth all around, so I don't feel like you have a great purchase on it. But the
grip it in hand, see what you think.
the pinky groove and this first finger cutout make it very nice once it's open.
Gotcha.
And again, I like the blade shape. When it comes to having like angular stuff, I like it if it is on the back of the blades. You have this not very pronounced, but a slight angle here, which I like that.
Nice.
So this seems like a good knife.
And this one's also a frame lock, but
It's
it has
like
a bolster.
It's
got a bolster over it, so you don't have the same issues you had with the other frame locks, essentially.
Yeah, so that is very interesting. I like that. I think that would be a good happy medium.
Okay, awesome. So $400, yay or nay?
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate for $400.
Solid. Next one, this one's a little bit different because, so this is the Purvis Primordial. Oh, there's the camera center. And yeah, tell me what you think of this one. Okay,
it's a little bit, for its size, it's a bit thicker than the last one we were handling.
Mm-hmm.
The skeletonized frame is pretty cool. I like that. Probably helps make it a little bit lighter. It doesn't have a flipper tab, nor does it have like a thumb stud, so it's just like, I don't know, it's a little more awkward to open for a non-knife guy like myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very doable. It has kind of that same frame lock thing on that last knife, where it has that bolster.
Mm-hmm.
So that I like. The finish, I don't know about the finish so much. It's probably appropriate for what it is, but I think it just looks used.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this, like a
Basically, it's
What
a
finish is
coated
this?
and then stone washed like a PVD.
Okay.
So it came kind of with that pre-worn look.
Yeah, that stonewashed look isn't really my cup of tea, but it still looks nice, and it still looks like a quality knife.
How does it feel in hand once you do have it open?
Doesn't really work for me. This edge goes right under where like my middle finger wants to go, so I don't quite care for that. There's not really any purchase down where the pinky is, so I'm not so sure. But where the first finger goes, that's fine.
Okay.
So not my fave, but
Okay.
still it feels and looks nice, but it's not really my thing.
Okay. And the next one
So
we
wait,
have...
what's that one? What's the price?
$280.
$280?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay $280 for that. It's cool, but I wouldn't.
Next one is the ZT470. So...
Yeah, I remember back in the day when we were actually living together that you were a big ZT fan.
I still am.
Yeah, I figured as much. I think, what is this, the second ZT we've busted out so far?
Yeah, and there's
Okay.
a lot more at home.
Okay, yeah. This one, I like this one. I like this kind of like satin steel finish with this carbon fiber and this, what do you call this part? Where
It's a decorative pivot.
Yeah, okay, decorative pivot. I like that quite a bit. The thumb, or the flipper tab, isn't very large, so it's unobtrusive. I like it because it's smooth and it just seems to open very nicely. It's easy to open and smooth, but it doesn't feel like the tolerances are quite as tight as some of those more expensive knives that we've been handling, but still very nice. And I do like this one quite a bit. It also has a very, very simple pocket clip. It's not deep carry. I very much prefer deep carry, but I like the simplicity on it.
Okay, nice. Why do you like deep carry?
I like deep carry just because when I'm carrying, a lot of times when I'm on my bike and there's this portion of the knife sticking up, and this is my motorcycle, this will jab me in the side. So I like deep carry because it helps prevent that on my motorcycle more than anything else.
Okay.
But also, if I'm going to be carrying at work and such, I prefer it just to be a little bit
More
deeper.
discreet.
Yeah, a little more discreet. Because like most corporate places, there's a no weapons policy that no one pays attention to.
Have you explained to them that these are tools, not weapons, though?
Well, the thing is, a lot of people in my office carry just because it's Arizona and everybody carries something. So, since people carry knives, it's just not really a big deal. But just because it's been a thing in the past with some of the places I've worked, I prefer
deep carry.
Deep carry.
Okay, solid. This one.
I like this one a lot.
$250-ish.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Okay.
That's probably been my favorite of the ones we've brought out so far.
Solid. All right. Next one, we have the Benchmade Mini Crooked River, and it is an axis lock.
And I remember, again, back in the day that you had a Benchmade that I liked more than you did.
The one with the Juma scales, the white snake-looking scales?
No, it was just the green, like, diamond-like finish.
Oh, the 940.
Yes.
With the green aluminum.
Yes.
I hated that finish.
Yeah, you hate it. And I loved it because it was a lot like my gun, the Car PM9. It reminded me of that because it's very sticky and rough and like you can
tactile, just super tactile.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. So yeah, this doesn't have that same flipper appeal as that 940 did. Seems just a bit tighter. Oh, it has that assisted open? No, it's assisted close.
Nope.
What is the spring close? Because
none of these have a spring close. Just that Benchmade bedlam. No. The Lacey Zabo folder had a spring that forced it closed.
Okay, so this one has that
axis lock.
Axis lock, okay.
It's just due to the shape of the tang as it comes across that lock bar. It gives it a different feel for sure.
Yeah, but this one feels very smooth, and I really like the wood.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of wood on a lot of things. I guess I'm old-fashioned that way, but this feels quality, but it doesn't have that same kind of, I don't know, charm that 940 did back in the day. Thumb stud's fine. Yeah, none of the knives I carry have thumb studs, so the opening it is not something I'm really used to.
Okay. You carry autos?
Yes.
Okay.
Or, like, yeah, the Kershaw Thermite the Kershaw Launch 7, which
Yeah.
is my go-to carry. I love that knife. I carried that out the front, that crappy out the front you lent me, a while back.
Yeah.
I don't care for that, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, this one, I believe it's like 130, if I remember.
It feels more expensive than 130.
Okay, nice. All right, this is a form factor you'll be very familiar with. This is the Guardian Tactical Recon 035. And actually, let's stop it, and I'm going to pause this real quick. We'll do part 2.
Okay.
All right, hopefully we'll stitch these 2 parts together to be a very seamless thing with my editing software. Probably not.
Okay.
So, all right, so the next one, again, is the Recon 035. This is an OTF form factor you are familiar with.
That feels much nicer than the one that you lent me.
Yeah.
And it's not as, it doesn't feel as robust as a Microtech. Like our friend Keith carries a Microtech all the time. And
Well, arguably the Microtech is also significantly larger than
oh,
this
it's
knife.
huge.
Yeah.
It's significantly larger than this. This is something you could carry every day as an out the front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very easy to open, easy to close. I don't like where the, so it has the, I don't know, what do you call this? Yeah, the finger groove right here, which makes it easy to open and close. And it has one up here for, I don't know if you want to choke up on it a little bit.
Yeah.
You can do that. I probably wouldn't, just because there's not enough, the groove isn't deep enough to really give you confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like it.
Yeah.
And it's thin and light, which is different than pretty much any other out the front I've handled up to this point.
Okay. That one runs $290.
I know out the fronts are a little bit more expensive, but I don't know, I'm probably neutral on that. I personally wouldn't, but I don't think it's unreasonable, that cost.
Yeah. Solid. All right. And then the last one is actually a little bit interesting because it's essentially the same knife, but you have like the economy version versus like the luxury version of arguably the same design. So we have the Riot Knives Baby Machine and the Riot produced Mass Knives Prism, both designed by Tashi Barucha. So essentially they're the same knife, but obviously one's a little bit nicer. So let me know what you think.
Okay. So it has that kind of like spider hole thing. I do like that. Okay, one thing I'm finding that I do not like is this edge here is a little bit sharp.
Okay.
So when I go to, grip it, it does go into my first finger a little bit, and I can feel that edge digging into my first finger. I do not like that. If you choke up a bit, it's definitely better, but I can also feel that this fatty skin on my first finger is getting right up here onto this edge.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not big on that, but if cinching down a little bit lower, using this kind of groove where my first finger is, it seems okay, but I do not like that. Yeah, I'm not big on this. The finish is nice, the pivot looks nice, though that being said, this edge of the pivot seems to stand out further than this one. I know that's just part of the design of the knife, but I don't know, I just don't quite like that. The pocket clip looks really cool, and it feels like a quality pocket clip, so that aspect of it is nice. The frame lock is fine, but kind of like I was describing earlier, when I go to push it open, I end up pushing a lot on my first finger just because I'm not
Used to it.
used to it.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Okay.
I wouldn't. No, I don't think at any price I would go with this knife just because it doesn't suit my personal taste.
Okay.
But it feels reasonable.
Try the black one since it's essentially the same design. Very minute differences, if you're honest.
I already like this one better.
Interesting.
The issue with the first finger is not as pronounced on this one, but I can still feel this sharp edge. So that really doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
I like the skeletonized frame. I think it looks really cool. The pocket clip on this one has a design that seems to really work with the skeletonized look. The blade seems quality. well, at least I like the shape of it. And then this one, where the pocket clip is, gives my middle finger somewhere to go when I close the frame lock, so I like that better. But I still am not big on this.
Okay.
Still not my thing.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So those, last one is actually in my pocket. So we'll put those two back. I forgot that's kind of a 2-for-1 since this one is $320 and this one came in at like, oh man, I remember, like $220.
Interesting, because I preferred the skeletonized one to the more expensive one.
That is interesting. Last but not least, we have the Granton Gavin Hawk Mud Auto. So this is a form factor you'll be more familiar with being an automatic knife, like
okay, and
your main carry.
And you've come over and been excited about this one before. I have handled this before. The G10 feel has that plasticky feel, but it feels it gives you some purchase. So I do like it on this knife.
Okay.
Makes it feel more, I don't know, tactical. Yeah, it opens well, feels very smooth. I like the blade seems pretty thick. I don't think the blade looks particularly nice, but it seems like it's more practical.
Okay.
The pivot here just looks nice, and I think you were showing me another knife earlier, and you had mentioned that it's fully enclosed, and this...
It was this knife.
It was not this knife. It was another knife you were showing me. It was not an auto that you were showing me earlier.
It was. This is the only knife I have with the enclosed pivot.
Did I just not
Pay
open
attention?
it? Okay, that's certainly possible. Yeah, okay, but yeah, fully enclosed seems pretty cool. Seems like it would keep crap out of the mechanism here. Deep carry pocket clip. This seems very practical in many ways, but it's not super thin either, nor is it super light. So I don't know. I feel like I'm conflicted about this knife. I don't know if this knife knows what it is, because it seems like it could be an excellent everyday carry if it was a little bit thinner and lighter. But since it's not, I'm not sure I would go for something like this.
Gotcha. Okay. So since you like this one the least, and both these two are essentially the same. All right, so we've got all 12 here in the Blade HQ little carry pack. Which one did you like the most, and which one did you like the least?
Okay, the least is the one you just pulled out.
Okay.
That was clearly my least.
So the Granton Gavin Hawk Mud Auto.
Wait, no, not that one. The one you pulled out of the case.
Okay. So the one
the double one. Yeah, that one is the one I do not like.
You know what's interesting is this knife, in terms of opening, the way that I always open is with my middle finger, and I flick it out like that.
Okay.
Which is something that you won't know how to do. You know. And honestly, this is one of my favorites for this year.
Interesting, because that's the one I definitely wouldn't have.
So the thing that I really like about it is the multiple handholds. So I can come all the way back on it like this, and just choke all the way back, or I can choke all the way up on it to get various grips on this knife, and then it's also just a lot of fun to open and close and such. And yeah, this is actually one of my favorites, which is interesting.
Okay.
So this is the one you like the least, and you like the least because, one, you said it had a sharp edge here.
Yes, that is by far and away the thing that I do not like about that knife the most, is that edge right where my first finger would go when I grip it.
Okay, and so basically what he's talking about is, we're upside down a little bit, but there's a sharp edge right here on the top of the frame where it was obviously wire EDM cut to separate the lock bar. So, and so you like it the least because of the sharp edge, and what other reason?
It is the least ergonomic for me.
Okay.
The lack of a flipper or a thumb stud or any of that. I don't mind the hole opening, but that one just, it really doesn't work with my style.
It's not as easy as a Spyderco spider hole, which is the best opening hole there is.
Yeah, so for someone who's not really a knife person like myself, that's not going to be a fan favorite there.
Okay, perfect. And the one you like the most, I'm guessing, was this CT, the 470.
Easily.
And tell us why.
It's thin. It's surprisingly light for how metallic it looks. I like the satin finish. I like the carbon fiber. I like the pivot. I like the unobtrusive thumbs or the flipper tab. Mm-hmm. It opens smoothly, even though it doesn't feel as tight as some of the others. Mm-hmm. It opens very easily, opens and closes very easily. It just seems very simple. I mean, I would prefer it if it had a deep carry pocket clip, but mm-hmm. even so, it works for me. And then the flipper tab up here has some serrations, so you get a little bit more purchase with your first finger. Mm-hmm. The knife shape is very easy. It seems more typical, mm-hmm. so it would be good for a lot of different things. Just where someone like myself will open their knife and use it fairly regularly, it just seems like a usable blade. Mm-hmm. But more than anything else, I just like the feel that it's relatively thin, it's relatively light. The flipper tab is awesome. So this is by far and away my favorite.
Among these 12?
Yeah, among these 12.
Okay. Now pull your knife out of your pocket.
Okay.
Which is the... And this is legitimately his everyday
Yeah, this is what I carry every single day. So this is the Launch 7. It opens with authority. Uh-huh. I really like that, but because I suppose one of the reasons that I like this knife is it's very similar to the Launch 7, my everyday carry, because the Launch 7 is very thin, very light. It's unfortunately similar to this zero tolerance. The pocket clip is not deep carry. And so this does jab me in the side every once in a while when I'm on my bike.
I can probably get you a deep carry pocket clip for that if you want.
Oh, that would be phenomenal.
Okay, just remind me.
But yeah, and then I like that the Launch 7 is very long. But when I hand this to people, mm-hmm. I have to let them know, hold it tight when you open it, because I've had people drop it on many occasions just because it opens so vigorously.
Yeah. So between the 470 and the Launch 7, I'm going to assume you would still prefer the Launch 7?
For everyday carry, yes.
Okay.
It's bigger, it's longer, I believe it's lighter. Well, no, it's not really lighter, but they're very similar, but for the size...
It's lighter for the size,
yeah, it's lighter for the size. The zero tolerance, you know it's a better knife when you pick it up. There's no question about that. The fit and finish are better, the blade opening action is better. Everything about it just seems better. Mm-hmm. But for everyday carry, something I don't have to worry about, I know it's cheap, I'm going to stick to my Launch 7.
Okay. Nice. Nice. And how's that new edge on it treating you?
Excellent.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
He used it so much that the blade was essentially dull, and so I got that sharpened for him, and it's came back hair shaving sharp.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay, cool. All right, any other thoughts or things that you want to talk about in general about my crazy knife hobby? Or
so I know one thing that you really like is like the carbon fiber look. Mm-hmm. You seem to be a big fan of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just seems like a lot of these they have a quality feel when you look at them, when you feel them, when you open them. Mm-hmm. So I can kind of tell that some are more expensive than others, but there are some that a lot of it is personal taste. Like what was the one that was $700 that I really did not like?
The Shiro, which is highly overpriced, but arguably one of my favorite knives.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. But you feel it and you know it's a nice knife.
Yeah.
So despite the fact I don't like it, I can still appreciate that it's a decent knife.
Okay, solid. All right, cool. Well, thanks for sharing your thoughts and doing that with me. I thought it'd be interesting for you guys to, kind of hear from someone who
knows nothing about knives.
Well, you use knife as a tool, and that's it. Your affiliation with knives does not go beyond, hey, this is a useful tool that I have for each and every day. And he does use it each and every day, but it ends there. Whereas me, it's well beyond the, hey, this is a tool, and it's like, ooh, I like this, and I like this, and I like this. That's why when I tried to do like a top 10 or a top 5 for 2018, I ended up with fucking 12 knives.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm gonna call it a top 10 with 2 honorable mentions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
but yeah, you're right. Like my other knife is just the Leatherman Juice S2. That's the other thing I carry all the time. It's a great tool, but like just function, no form.
Oh, I didn't even know you carried this daily.
Yeah.
Didn't you have an orange S2 once upon a time?
Yeah, I have no idea where it went, so I bought another S2.
Your dog probably buried it.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, there you have it. Here's what Eddie carries. He's got his Launch 7 and his Leatherman Juice S2. So, all right, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then I will bring Eddie back for, I don't know, some other videos we can think of. And, yeah, see ya.